All right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Steve Couper's podcast for aspiring real estate investors. In each episode, we connect with seasoned investors and industry subject matter experts who are eager to share their experiences and tips for success when investing in real estate. So today, I am super excited because for Steve Couper's podcast, I have the profound pleasure of speaking with a TEDx speaker, a storytelling marketing expert, a breakthrough results coach who is passionate about helping coaches learn how to master their mind so they can stand out, attract more clients, and grow their business. And so, yes, you heard me right. She's a coach that helps other coaches, consultants, and small business owners. So it helps us navigate the entrepreneurial roller coaster so they can build incredible businesses that change the world. She's a human being expert, the co-founder of Unstoppable Linked Coach, with expertise founded in leadership development, public speaking, training, and being consulting. I am pleased to say she's also my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tina Marie Brigley.
Oh, thank you. That's really great. Yeah, human being. Yes, that's my forte. Helping people master their being.
Tina, I'm really looking forward to talking with you today, learning more about you and how your services can help us real estate investors prosper in their business. But before we go much further, did I capture everything properly?
I think you caught everything and more. I'm like, man, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, good.
All right. Well, I got several questions for you today, but before we kick it in, do you have anything you want to share about yourself that I didn't capture?
Well, it's really interesting because I used to be a special education teacher. And so many people ask me about my journey. How did I become a coach? And it started with just a podcast. And well, actually, it wasn't a podcast at the time. It was a webinar that I just saw. And I thought, this is really cool. I think coaching would be fun. So, doing these podcasts, I often wonder, is something that we say in this podcast going to trigger something in somebody that says, hey, maybe I can do that too. Maybe I can create that too. So yeah, no, it's awesome. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
I love it. Hey, so you're a keynote speaker. You've appeared on TEDx. You've been recognized as honoree for the top 500 global influential leaders. You're seemingly fearless on stage, as I happen to know. In fact, I've seen you talk to hundreds of strangers. You kept your cool, and you're busy making an impact up there. So I found you to be very engaging. You've got a real compelling presence. And I think your personal stories that you build a connection with, through your personal stories, you build a connection with us in the audience. Tell me how you got started on stage and how you feel that plays a role in accomplishing your goals.
So I remember I saw an advertisement to be a TEDx speaker, but at the time that I saw it, I had a debilitating fear of public speaking. When I was a teacher, I struggled with having parent-teacher interviews with my principal in the room. My face would turn red. I used to wear turtlenecks all the time because I would get red and blotchy. I mean, my body gave everything away because I was so afraid of saying the wrong thing. I was afraid of people asking me questions and I didn't have the answers to them a lot. I was in my head a lot. So when I saw the TEDx was coming to my city, I sent in the intro video to overcome a part of my fear of public speaking because I had to submit a video. And just submitting a video was very challenging for me at the time. And I remember when I was chosen, I said, what, to help out with TEDx? And she said, no, to be a speaker. And I was excited, but then all of a sudden I was nervous because I thought I could barely submit the video. How am I going to speak in front of 150 people live? So that's legit how I got started in the speaking world. That's true. And I remember practicing, seemed like for months. And 2 weeks before the event, I had to do my presentation in front of my coaches. And I had my cue cards. Literally, I went blank. I had nothing. There was nothing in my head. Everything I had been practicing for months, it just went away. I was so scared. I started sweating. My heart started palpitating. They were so kind and so loving and helped me through it. But then I realized, man, I'm not competent, which means I don't have the confidence. So I just realized I had to practice on my treadmill, practice in front of my kids' stuffed animals. I called my friends over. We had a TEDx practice party. Everywhere I went, I was just practicing until it just became internalized. And I realized this is just my story. All I need to do is tell my story. And so, even though I had the fear, and I remember the bright lights on the stage thinking I might actually die, and I had the clicker in my hand. So funny because I had the monitor in front of me to kind of keep track, but I was so nervous, I just kept randomly clicking. So, when I needed it, it wasn't at the right spot. So I said to myself, just generate it, just create what you've been practicing for months. And I could see a shift in me where all of a sudden I wasn't in my head, I was out here with the audience. And that's what I've just been practicing doing ever since. And I get scared every time I'm on a stage. People don't believe it, but I am terrified and I do it anyways.
Well, good on you. I thought you did brilliantly when I saw you, and I also I had sympathy butterflies because I've experienced it myself. It can be quite surprising to discover those nerves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you did really well.
Thank you.
So coaching coaches, this is interesting. So there's so many people out there professing to be coaches, right? And especially in the real estate investing world, there's a lot of folks offering advice, and some are better at it than others. There really is quite a distinguishing, quite a band of skill set and I think empathy maybe that connects people. I don't know, but I'm of the opinion that we should be maybe interviewing our coaches before engaging with them just to make sure they're a good fit for our services. Now, you've built a business on coaching coaches. What do you consider to be the hallmark of a good coach? What role does personal experience play into that in order for them to succeed? And what about what is your approach to helping coaches go from mediocre to great? How do you manage that?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So let me start with this. There's really only a handful of coaches in the world that are seven-figure coaches. There's about 12% that are actually generating 10K months or 100K months. So a lot of people, because I've trained and developed over 1,500 coaches, they have an expertise. They can leverage their expertise and help fast track people's results. But sometimes what they do is they get into a niche where they have very little experience, but they think that's where the money is. And that does not actually work because you can only take clients as far as you're willing to take yourself. So when I first started coaching coaches, it was by accident, really, because I had completed my health coaching certification, my life coaching certification, and I replaced my teacher's salary in that first year. So I hit six figures my first year of coaching. So the people that were in my programs were asking me, how did you do that? What are you doing differently? Because they weren't getting traction, they weren't getting results. And my answer to them was, I have no idea. People just come to me. And that was the truth back then. But what I realized now that I didn't realize before, I was sharing myself. I was sharing my highs, my lows. I was authentically connecting with people. And people saw themselves in my stories and my sharing, and they wanted to get to where I was. They knew that they were stuck and they wanted to just get two steps ahead. And they saw me as somebody that could help them because I had already done it. And not only that, I probably invested over 5,000 hours in my own personal development. Now, a lot of coaches can give their expertise away, but not all of them are doing the inner work to see the things in themselves that maybe they don't want to see, the shadow parts, the ugly parts, the inauthentic ways of being. So I believe coaches that are the best coaches are the ones that are really willing to take themselves on in a profound way, not just by reading books or doing yoga or meditating, I mean, really getting coaching by high level coaches to help them see the things that they can't see. And I've worked with some of the best coaches in the world, business coaches, personal development coaches, and I had some of the best training in the world to become a leadership coach. So I always say, put your money where your mouth is. Don't just talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk. And it's a process. And the more we can see it as a process, I feel it just unleashes the best version of ourselves, and people are attracted to that light. They love being with people that they feel that they can connect with and trust. So I hope I answered all three of your questions in there.
I think you did. I think you did, Tina. There's many people professing to, no, no, where am I going? Are the fundamentals of coaching radically different before COVID, if you're a coach and you wanted to create clients, and compared to now? So, COVID changed everything. We've got Zoom, we've got all kinds of online interfacing that's happening. What do you feel is the difference in how coaches can approach their clients now that you don't need to be in the same room necessarily together? How do you feel about that?
When the pandemic hit, most people were offline. They were doing live events, they were out in their communities and their networks. And when COVID hit, for us, it was a real big opportunity because a lot of people were furloughed, they were made redundant, they had all this knowledge and expertise, but they weren't in their jobs anymore. So we helped them get online. And at the time, LinkedIn was the place to be. There wasn't a lot of people doing business online, even though it was a business platform. They didn't really know how to use it. So we were able to achieve real immediate success by pivoting. We only had a high-end program. We thought, let's make this affordable. Let's get people online. Let's get them in action. So we were able to hit 7 figures in less than a year. And then the next year, multi-7 figures. And that was because of COVID, because we just got at the top of the curve. Now, what we're seeing is everybody's online. And I don't know if people notice this, but when you are on Facebook or you're on LinkedIn, every 40 seconds, you are given an ad. Or sorry, 10 ads for every 40 seconds. So every 4 seconds, when you're scrolling, you're being hit with an ad. So what does that mean for coaches? Well, you're competing against a lot of noise, and people have so much information. If you want to know how to grow a business, all you need to do is go to ChatGPT and see, how do I grow a business? And ChatGPT will say, find your niche, do this, do that, step by step. Well, if 82% of businesses are failing with all of this information out there, why? And we're seeing it's because people want real, authentic relationships. And that is challenging for some people to put themselves out there to share. So I believe that it's really important for people to build relationships with other people in an authentic way. It's really the only way to grow a business nowadays, because we're competing against too much noise, and people want to do business with people, not businesses.
No, I think that's brilliant. I mean, you are very engaging, as I mentioned earlier. You're approachable, and I think that that's a recipe for success, because I want to connect with you and learn more about what you do and listen to what you have to say. I think I understand why it's working for you.
Well, it's people see the outcome. They see, oh, you built a 7-figure company, you were on Forbes and all of these accolades. But another part of my journey is I walked away from all of that too, because it wasn't actually what I wanted. I thought I wanted this top of the mountain would be a 7-figure coaching business and all of these accolades. And then when I got it, I felt, is this it? Is this what it feels like? I'm disconnected from people. I don't even know who's in the room anymore. I don't know if they have children at home, or if they're married, or if they're struggling with their mental health. I'm running a business, but my business for me was the business of transforming lives. And I didn't know if I was actually fulfilling on that. And so I started seeing this big business is actually not for me. this isn't what I want for my life. I want to be connected because it's my core value. And so people think sometimes, are you crazy? Like you got to where only a handful of people ever get to, and you walked away. Yes, I did. And I don't have any regrets. So am I a 7-figure business owner right now? No, I'm not. And I'm okay with that because I know what is the impact of being in business like that. And so it's been a journey, and it's been full of, and this is entrepreneurship. It's highs and lows, it's bumps, it's failures, it's success. It's a roller coaster, but it's also alive. And that's what I love. I love the feeling of being alive and doing what I love on my terms without any attachment to what it should be.
I love it. I love it. I think it's a nice segue into mindset, because I remember you talking about some of those life challenges, personal experiences, and the realization or empathy you gain from those experiences. And I'm a firm believer that mindset and self-awareness are key to personal development. They're critical for real estate investors. So, and I know so many people face roadblocks, things they can't get past. But you have a theory that we self-sabotage. Why do you think that? And without giving away your secret sauce in your business, tell us your approach to helping people work through it.
Well, we hear a lot of the times that change doesn't happen inside of our comfort zone, but a lot of people aren't aware that there's 7 different comfort zones. And so, one of them is striving without receiving, or processes without results. So people like the idea possibly of being a real estate investor, and they'll go through the motions and all the training and the learning. But when it goes to like actually taking the money and say investing in something, they hold themselves back because they are actually living inside their comfort zone, not even aware that they're inside their comfort zone. Other things that we have human fears. And one of our fears is fear of extinction. People say it's fear of death. Well, no, it's fear of letting go of our identity, our ego. Now, this is a little bit woo-woo here, but patterns and things that have happened to us in our life. And I feel like it's putting up an invisible wall. Something happens, we make a decision about ourselves. Something else happens, we make another decision. So then what we're going through is this life with this thick, transparent wall. We don't even know that it's there. And we got to chisel down that wall and let it go. So the process of building any business is a process of letting go. But we're not talking about this, so people aren't even aware. And they go through life, I'm fine. I don't trust. I'm apprehensive. I hold myself back, but I'm fine. This is just me. This is just the way I am. Well, that's the you that you created to deal with life. And the essence is free to make choices, free to be, free to show up powerfully. But we don't know because we're not talking about it. So personal awareness is key. Mindset is key, but people don't actually know what it means to be personally aware until somebody like us shows up and says, it's not just about reading books. It's about really going to town to see, how did my identity get constructed? Why am I the way that I am? Why is it that I'm shy and introverted or loud and outgoing? Where did that come from? When did I make the decision that that's who I need to be in life? And there's nothing wrong with us. We're not broken. We don't need to be fixed. But there are parts of us that hold us back from really stepping into that version of ourselves that we're always meant to be. So this is what I like to do. I like to go digging. I'm like a little detective. I like to, okay, you believe that, but where's it coming from? That I'm not good enough, that I can't do this, that I'm going to fail, I'm going to make a mistake. Where does it come from? Let's go find out, because it's not true. It's not true.
I have a feeling that would be quite liberating. I can only imagine the transformation.
Well, I'm working with a client right now. She's a leadership coach. She has her PhD, highly, highly successful. She had this story that I'm just not good enough. And it would be the experience of getting on the stage, talking in front of 500 people, and then getting off the stage and saying, whew, I'm glad that's over with. I wonder if they see that I'm a phony. And she always, even though she was very successful, She would never own her success. She would never embody that success and allow that feeling of, wow, I'm making a difference to penetrate. So we had to go digging, and we saw within, it was less than a half an hour, she got to the source of where that's coming from. One story in the past. And then the process of working with us was unraveling the impact of hanging on to that story. And she just said, I legit feel lighter, feel like released. Because what we do is, I call them open loops. When things happen, they start to chain. And then we have these invisible chains. And when you start closing the loops and uncovering the things from the past, it's like breaking the chains, and the chains are freeing, and you feel lighter. And it happens in a moment when you see something you've never seen before and you take new actions. You don't have to pay for coaching for the rest of your life. It really does sometimes just take a couple insights and then new action, and it's practicing the actions until it becomes part of who you are, the part of how you operate, the part of how you show up in the world. That's what I love about what I do, helping people have that freeing experience to just live with joy and happiness and lightness.
Perfect. Perfect. Linked Coach. You co-host a group called Unstoppable Linked Coach. I'd like to learn more about it. Can you please tell me about the group, your purpose, who's it for, and how do your members grow their business? That's what you're offering there. How do you grow your business?
Yeah, so when we were doing workshops every week, webinars bi-weekly, we were giving away a ton of value. We realized that by doing that, we're actually doing people a disservice. And this is why I say that, because people had the belief, I can just do this on my own. If I get this information and I apply the tools and strategies, but we saw that a year later, people still weren't growing their business. Because again, that's their comfort zone for a lot of people. They love learning, but they don't apply what they learn. So we created this community, one, to build authentic relationships with people, to see where are your struggles, what are the resources we can give you, and how do we hold you accountable? And we knew that a lot of people couldn't afford high fees, or they didn't believe in themselves enough to invest in themselves, but we knew we could help them. But we wanted to help them in a way that would actually get them in action. So we have a free community. We have, a VIP that's only $47 a month. And then we have our elite, which is our signature program. And we thought, what if we created a platform where people could get outside of the noise? They could just find exactly what they need to grow a coaching business. We can meet them where they're at. And when they're ready and they have a relationship with us and a rapport, and they trust and they see that we actually do care about their results, then when they're ready, we can support them at the next level by getting our coaching, our consulting, helping them fast track. And this is how we're growing our business now. And it feels good because we can meet people, all people, where they're at. And if they're tire kickers, I call the people that aren't committed, they have no intention, but they really just want to be a part of a community. They want to learn, they want to grow. Great. You get to be where you are, and where you are is perfect. And we get to support them where they are and add value. And I get to know people too, because I'm in there. People are, do you have a virtual assistant that connects with people? No, it's actually me. I spend 3 hours a day just going in the back end, messaging people. Tell me about what you're up to. What are you creating? What are your challenges? I send them to content that I've created to support with their challenges. My only intention is to give people value, because I know when we do that, when people are ready, we just trust that they will want to work with us, but we're not attached to it. And I remember when we went to this business model, a business coach said, that's business suicide. And he said, it's like this is awful. He said, it's like being pregnant for 9 months and then delivering a stillborn. I want to help you apply birth control. And I said, okay, I don't even know what that means, what you're telling me. Basically, his experience was, this is never going to work. And I just simply asked, have you ever tried it? And he said, well, no. I'm like, then that's just a story. I said, and I like to pave my own path and I like to make my own mistakes. And if it epically fails, at least I get to enjoy the process and I'm not attached to winning or losing. I'm attached to creating transformation in the world. So thank you for your opinion, but it's not going to sway me. Who are you? That's just your opinion. And I think sometimes we get stuck in hiring coaches who have an opinion of how things should be done instead of how do I want to grow my business? And that's what we do too. I have a lot of strategies. We've done multiple things, webinars, workshops, in-person events, retreats. First question I ask is, if you could design a business of your choice, what would it look like? What would you want to jump out of bed creating every single day? I'm like, okay, cool. Do that then. Do that. I don't ever say do what I do because it might not work for you. But when you create clarity on how you want your business to go, how you want to feel inside your business, everything is possible.
Yeah.
We just got to be willing to shift our lifestyle to have it.
Love it. Love it.
It's fun.
And so how long have you been doing that?
This is going on my 8th year.
Linked coaches.
Well, I had another business before, basically rebranded. We let go of that old business model, and we rebranded. So that's why I say 8 years, but Linked Coach, we just started in the last 3 months.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this is brand new.
I know my LinkedIn page has got all kinds of stuff scattered throughout it, so I'd like to clean it up.
Well, we can help you with that. There's lots of training for that.
We all have reasons why we do what we do, Tina. I'd love to understand what it is that's moving you to do what you do. You're obviously very passionate about it. I think I could try to explain what I think your why is, but I'd love to hear you say, why are you coaching coaches? To what end? What does success look like for you? How are you going to know when you get there?
Great question. So growing up, my dad had schizophrenia and, he really struggled with his mental health. But I started realizing the more I got into personal development, my dad actually had a gift. He was highly intuitive. He helped the police find a missing person. I really do believe that my dad had a gift that he didn't understand and nobody else around him understood. And so I went and got my honors in psychology. I went and did all of this work to try and see if I could help him, like fix him. And I realized that we aren't broken. We don't need to be fixed, but we have things that are hiding behind our view. And so my why is no person left behind. How many people in the world have a gift, don't understand it, don't know about it, they don't know what to do with it, and they are hiding their gifts from the world because they're afraid or they don't know what to do with it. And training and developing coaches, I just feel that if I can support coaches to be the real deal, because I think I said this already, but you can only take your clients as far as you've been willing to take yourself. I have done a lot of personal growth and development to turn over all the rocks, to look underneath everything, to get underneath a lot. I mean, it's an evolution, but if I can help them to do that, what kind of a ripple can we make? And I truly believe I'm the one. If we look at, I don't know if people are into astrology, but I'm a reflector, which means I'm like 1% of the world. And I really believe that everything that's happened to me has happened to bring me where I am today, to make a bigger impact in the world. So success to me is letting go of the attachment of any results in life and living with true freedom to be me, fully self-expressed, not holding back, not afraid of what people think, not going through life trying to navigate people's feelings and emotions and going around being liked. I'd rather have the freedom to be disliked and show up as my authentic self. That to me is true freedom, and that is success. Letting go of my ego, letting go of, I don't know it all. I don't even claim to know a little fraction. I'm just a person living a human experience, doing the best that I can, caring about people. That is success to me. And if I can keep that up, I think I'm doing good.
I think you're doing great. I really do. Such a
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you, Tina. Really appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
And your insight into the world of humanity and I mean, I like the tie into real estate investing. That's my focus and interest. But you know what? I mean, all of this plays a role in how we approach every day and how we get to make our businesses work and our lives work. So I really appreciate everything you're sharing here.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's my pleasure. I think connection is the key. Relationships are the key. And if we can just feel a little more connected to each other, the world will just be a happier place.
A happier place. Speaking of connections, if people want to reach you, what's the best way for them to do so?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can Google Tina Brigley Coaching. It's pretty easy to find me, Steve. Easy to find me. But LinkedIn, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn and I offer a lot of valuable resources on there too. So that would be a great place to start.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for your time, Tina. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Steve. And thanks for putting this podcast together. It's really valuable.